Today, everybody, we're going to be working on rotations. We're going to take this triangle, and we're going to rotate it around point R, 80 degrees counterclockwise. So right now, I want you to be thinking of how the clock turns. All right? So if you have a clock, all right, you will notice that it would go like this. That is what? Clockwise. Very good. So that's clockwise. All right? Now I'm going to change colors, and that's counterclockwise. So what are we going to be doing with each point, N, P, and N? We're going to be going which direction? Counterclockwise. That's what we're going to be doing. So the very first thing that I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take your protractor and make a nice straight line from the middle of R. Try to get as best as you can right there in the middle of R to P. Right there. That's the first step. Make a line from R to P. That little point. So make a nice little line and put a point. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to get out your protractor. Okay? So get your protractor out. Now it's going to be very important that you follow exactly what I'm doing. I'm rotating my protractor right here. And you guys see where this point is right here in the middle? It's kind of hard to see. Right there. Grab it and put it right directly over the middle of point R and line up the line that you just made. So I'm going to rotate it right here so that everything is now perfectly in on that point. So try to get it right there on that point in the middle. That's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. So that's what I want you to do next. Now, the next thing we need to do, now that you have this centered on R, all right? Some of you have a little hole in your protractor. You can put it right there over the R, all right? 80 degrees. We have to go from right here, and you see how that says 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, all right? As best as you can, where you see the 80 right here, I need you to carefully put a point right there. Oh, I messed up. Point right in there. Now, you might see, it might say 100, but it's really not, the 100 is going from this direction. The 80 is coming from, going counterclockwise, okay? So right now, try to find, I know, it's okay. I realize it's going to be difficult right there. You can go on the inside if you wanted to, on your protractor if you want to. Some of you can put a point right there, and that's okay. So once you put that point, what I want you to do, I'm going to move the protractor away, and I'm going to carefully, with a nice thin line, I'm going to carefully connect that line. I know yours is going to be long. It's okay.
I don't know if John's mind is always the next problem.
All right, so here we go. This is where you grab a compass. You take your compass, all right, and you take the metal part. You take the metal part and you gently place the metal part in the center of R. So right there, put it at the center of R. Now what you're going to do is you're going to carefully stretch it out so that you can touch it to P, like that. So you have R to P. Does everybody see the distance from R to P? Now here is your challenge. Here's your challenge. Good luck if you can do it. You take the compass and you rotate it right here until it arcs. Okay? So here's what it's going to look like. Here we go. You ready? That's what you're doing. You're just making a nice little arc right there. Nice and smooth. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a little tiny point right here, and that point, I'm calling it P prime. All right, I'm going to be changing colors now. Changing colors. Next thing we're going to do is you're going to carefully, to the best of your ability, from the center of R, you're going to draw a line all the way to M. Very carefully and precisely. All right, here we go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our protractor. Now this time, notice, I'm still putting it at point R, right there, but now I have to rotate it and get it lined up with my green line, right in there. So try to place it as best you can right there in the center of R and line it up with your new line. Just like that.
Boom.
Once you have that, once again, I'm going to change colors. I'm going to put a green here. And I have to go all the way to how many degrees?
80.
80. See that 80 right there? So I'm going to go right here and put a little tiny dot, to the best of my ability, right there at 80. So I realize when you're using a compass, your line might feel like it goes on forever. Well, you don't have to make a ridiculously long line, okay? Once it goes through the point, right, you see where it's going through the point right there? I don't have to make that long of a line. I can make it a shorter line as long as it's going through that point. All right? Now, I will make this line for me. I'll make this line a little bit longer because I need to have a little bit longer line right about there. So that's that right there. How many degrees has been this rotated? What's this angle right in here, this green angle? Oh,
80 degrees.
you're right, 80 degrees. Okay. So make that line. Once you've made the line, this is when you're going to go and you're going to get your compass again. Okay? See if I can find where my compass is. Where are you, Mr. Compass? There we are. There's Mr. Compass. To change colors to green. I'm going to put my compass right here in the center. The metal part is the center of R. I'm going to take this guy and stretch him all the way out
I
carefully
just get stretched so bad.
to M. See how I stretched it out to M right there? Now, carefully, I'm going to take it and rotate that sucker until, oh, looks like I got to make a little bit longer of a what? Line. That's okay. So there's my arc. That's okay. I can make a little bit longer of a line. Shouldn't mess anything up. Right here, all I'm going to do is make the line a little bit longer, right about there. And this point, right in here, what am I going to call that cute little guy? M prime. That's right. He's M prime. All right. The last one we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and change this to, well, you know what? Since I kind of did blue there, I'm going to go and do orange. Go orange. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, why don't you tell me what I'm going to do? I'm going to connect R to what?
N.
That's right. Connect R to N very carefully right there.
And
All right.
then going to make the protractor.
Yep. Got to get my protractor. Got to get my protractor right here. Uh-oh. That protractor, I got to rotate that guy all the way upside down. Got to put him all right here on R. Got to make sure it's nice and lined up perfectly with that orange line. I'm going to make sure I drop it down right there in the center of R to the best of my ability. Right there. Now, how many degrees am I going? 80. So I'm going to do it in orange. Right here. You guys see the 80 right in here? 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So I got to put my point right in there. So there's my point. Now I'm going to move my protractor over just a bit. I'm going to go grab take a nice straight line. Right? Here we go. So from R, I have to go through that point right there. That should be long enough. And so my angle from here to here, that's another 80 degrees. All right? So I get my compass once again. Oh, I've got to find it. Where is the compass? There it is. Okay. So I'm going to change that to orange. There we go. take this right here. We're going to stretch it all the way out to N carefully. Right there at the tip of N. And that's where you're going to make the last and final arc. Right in there. So what is this little tiny point right here going to be called? N prime. Very good. So the last thing that you're going to do after you find all of those points, then and only then are you going to connect all of the dots. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and use blue to connect all of the dots. All right, we are going to go from P to N, M prime to N prime, and back to P prime. And now I'm going to shade everything in right here so that you guys can clearly see, hopefully you guys can see, that this triangle has been what? It's been rotated along a path. Can you guys see how this path is going which direction? It's going not clockwise, it's going, all right, it's going around the clock backwards. Okay? So each one of these was rotated. I'm just making arrows to show you how it was rotated. It was rotated counterclockwise. You guys see how the shape right here, the shape has not changed. You see how it looks? They are congruent triangles. All right, so we have not changed the size. We have not changed the shape. It is the exact same triangle, and it has just been rotated. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to go and do problem number 2 together. All right, now this one says we're doing 100 degrees clockwise, so we're going to be doing it as the clock turns. So right here, this should be rotated where? It should be going somewhere up in here. That's what our finished product should look like. All right, so what I'd like you to do, step by step, we're going to start right here with Q and R, so just make a line right there. From here to right there. Best as you can. All right? From there to there. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get my protractor. Now this is going to be a little bit easier because which direction are we going? We're going clockwise, so it makes it a lot easier. Because I can just put this right on it. Right there in the center. And how many degrees am I going to go? 100. So see where it has 100? From here it goes 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way to 100. So we line it up right there. There we go. So there's the 100 degrees. Yeah, on the outside. That's fine. You can go on the inside. If you can, I can't write. See, I can't write on the inside. Okay, I can only write on the outside. This is the way my program is. All right. So right now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a nice thin line from the center straight through that. Then I'm going to take my compass. Measure it from Q and R. Make sure it's right there on Q and R. And then carefully do it. Carefully rotate it. And this little tiny point right here, that's going to be called Q prime. All right, next thing, we're going from R, right here from the center of R, to that point S. We're going to go from R to S. Do your best to make a nice straight line with your straight edge. Put this right here in the center of R, but now we have to line it up with the red line. So we're going to line it up right here. Lining it up. How many degrees are we rotating it once again? 100, right? 100. So right about in here. So dot right there. There's my 100-degree clockwise rotation. So now I'm going to take my straight line, connect that. Once I make that nice straight line, then once again, I take my compass, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to stretch it out to what? Stretch it out to S. Stretch it out to S. And carefully arc it right there. Put a little tiny dot right there, and I'm going to label that S prime. Okay, this time I'm going to change my line to green. This time I'm going to go from the center of R. I'm going to stretch it all the way out to T. Okay, there it is. Take my protractor, line it up. But this time we got to line it up with the green line, my green line right there with T. And once again, what am I going to rotate? 100 degrees. So I got to go right about here. About there. From T. There's that rotation. 100 degrees. Once again, going to make a nice thin line going through that point. And once I go through that point, that's when I grab my compass, changing it to green. It'll let me. I don't know why it says orange, but I'm changing it to green. Hopefully it'll draw green. I don't know why. No, it's making it orange. Why are you making it orange, you silly goose? There we go. Okay. There we go. Right here. Now I've put it right there on T. Now I'm going to draw my arc. Where that crosses right here, that's where I'm going to put a point. I'm going to call that T prime. We've done 3 points. We only have what? 2 more to go, right? 2 more to go. Next, what I'm going to do, U. There's my U right there. Grab my protractor. Try to do my best to make it nice and centered. Right in there. I have to rotate it 100 degrees. You'll notice that U and Q are pretty much on the same. They're going to be pretty much on the same line, even though they're pretty close. They're almost evenly, because you can almost pretty much connect it right there. All right. So mine looks a little bit off, but that'll be okay. R, I'm going to go straight through that point. You'll see how they're really close to each other. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my compass. Try to change colors on this. There we go. Stretch it from the center of R all the way out to U. Arc it all the way right up there. Call that point U prime. And finally, I'm down to my last final point, which is P. taking it to. What am I going to do from here? Okay. I'm going to draw a nice straight line right there to the tip of P. That's pretty good. Take my protractor, rotate it so that it lines up perfectly. Once again, rotating it, final point, 100 degrees, so right about there. I can get rid of that now. Finally, I can get rid of my protractor because that's the last time I needed it. From R, I could go straight through that. The reason why I'm doing different colors up here is I want you guys to see each path, like each individual path that's being rotated. If I just use the same color, it'd be harder to see. And the last thing I'm going to use, everybody, is my what? My compass. Okay. I'm going to change it to. This one is a little bit harder because we're dealing with what? We're dealing with a pentagon, not a triangle. Okay.
Yeah, mine came out with
Okay. So right here, okay, my final point, what am I going to call that? I'm going to call it P prime. So once I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything and connect the points. Okay? So right now, I'm going to go from P to U prime. P prime to U prime. I'm going to go from U prime to T prime. I'm going to go from T prime to S prime. Go from S prime to Q prime, and from Q prime back to T prime.
Well, mine looks.
Now I'm going to shade my net. All right. Here was the original drawing, everybody. Here was the original, right here, that I'm coloring in green, okay? Does everybody see the, even though, hey, there's a little bit of error in here because we're doing it, we're human beings, okay? A computer's not rotating it for us. We're actually doing it, what? With tools of the trade, protractor and compass. But does everybody see the path that each point took? Each one of these arcs that we created right here, how many degrees did each arc travel? 100 degrees. All right? And so we went from here and we rotated it. By hand, not by computer, by hand, we rotated it 100 degrees, going which direction? Clockwise. Good job.